my first step to cooking the oxtails, the Jamaican oxtails. I'm going to wash them with the white vinegar and finish off the last wash with a lemon. Now this is a really big lemon, and so what I'm going to do is cut it in half because I have started washing these, but I have a second batch here. I bought a whole case, so it's a lot of oxtails. They're nice. I cleaned them already, so this is the wash to get all the blood and whatever on the oxtails, but to get the gaminess and whatever you need to do. But it starts with adding vinegar to the oxtails and then adding a little cold water. Now I already did these twice, so this is going to be pretty much my last wash, and just to get the water to be clear, and I still see pink, so I think after I wash this batch I'm going to use half of the lemon, so half for this one and half of this. And after I wash them all and set them aside, then I will be back with the seasonings that I'm going to season and marinate them with. So I came back real quick to show you guys the difference between the washed oxtails. They're pretty much white, where you get all of the bloody matter out as much as possible. And here's the difference. See how red these are, which these are next to be washed, and the difference with the ones that are washed. So you can tell that they're clean and ready to add the seasoning, and the seasoning will bring the flavor out versus the gaminess of the meat. Okay, everybody, I'm back. Here we are to the fun part. So this is the part in my element that I do well in, and that is seasoning and mixing. These are the cleaned, all done. I'm going to use this pot to do my mixing. These are the veggies that will be cooked in tomorrow morning in this big pot. So today or tonight I'm going to be marinating, and so I already added seasonings in the bowl that I'm going to use towards the marinade. So I kind of pulled whatever I had in my cabinet, because that's what I do. I don't measure, I just take whatever I got. So I did pick up a couple of things like this. I really love this when I cook jerk, so I'm going to try it. I did get them out. These oxtails is for a family member who requested oxtails. So it's Juneteenth weekend, it's Father's Day weekend, so I hope little nephew share his pot. This is going to make 2 pots because, of course, I can't cook any for someone else and not have some for home, especially for Father's Day weekend. So anyway, speed things up. I'm going to mix the seasonings all together, and pardon me because I'm working with one hand and trying to video for myself just to try out something new. I had several people ask me to start doing a video series, so I thought maybe I will begin. So today is a good day. So I did do an all-purpose seasoning, some Lawry's. And I got these seasonings from Jamaica, and this is Scotch bonnet and, you know, all the hot habaneros. But I don't think I'm going to use those because the young fellow might not like it too hot. So people can always add their own seasoning. I had some smoked paprika, so I thought I'll use that. Some red peppers, the whole allspice. So I didn't put that many in because I'm going to add some into the pot. Black pepper. This is just some browning seasoning. So tonight is just going to be marinating. So I'm just making some seasoning. I'm going to put this, and I only had just whatever is in this bottle is what I'm going to use. I think it's going to be probably all gone by the time I finish squeezing out what's left. And so that's going to be, well, I guess I had quite a bit in here, so good job, Tina. Okay, now it's all gone. So that's it for that. I'm going to maybe add a good heaping of the jerk, maybe a little bit more. Like I say, I don't measure, so I'm just going by just by the thought process of you could by all means mix it however you like. I'm going to sprinkle all of this, and I'm sorry and apologize that, you know, this is my first time, so I thought I'll give it a try to just share a video of me cooking, and when people want something or need something or want to buy something, I actually do make it, and I prefer to cook that way. Let people, oh, it smells really good, have a taste of, you know, how I cook in my home. And I put try to put a lot of care, good ingredients, fresh ingredients, and trust me, these oxtails are definitely a labor of love. So it takes quite a while to get these to where you want to eat them. So I typically cook these oxtails as an oxtail stew. But now, since going to Jamaica and eating them in Jamaica, I think I'm turned on with the Jamaican style. And so that's why I'm making this video, because I think I'm doing something different now. So I'm going to mix all of these up, get them all ready for marinating overnight. And now that we have the oxtails marinated, they're looking good and the smell is fantastic. These are what we're going to do today, but we're going to do the browning of the oxtails first, and that may take an hour or so. So I'm in the process now of getting the oxtails to the pot. So what I have now is the hot oil cooking. I only put just a little at the bottom because we know oxtail is going to make its own oil. At least that's what I experienced previously. I use just what I had, the rest of the olive oil and canola oil. You can use whatever oil you like. Some people use butter. But I'm going to get the oxtails in and ready to brown. And because I'm doing this myself, it may be, my camera may not be situated the way I want, but I'm adding the oxtails in. I don't want to pour them in because I don't want to splash, but this is going to be the browning process, so we will have we'll have the slow, rich taste of the oxtail as it brown before we add the vegetables. So I'm going to get these in. Ooh, steaming up the camera. Let's take a break from the steam. a lot of these. But you can't cook a little bit when you have a large family and gathering. You have to be prepared to have enough for everyone to enjoy. I figure if you cook this long process, you want to have enough to savor on for a while. And thus my flavored juices, which is going to be poured into all the good juice. Okay, so that's it with the marinade. And now we could come. I have 2 spoons. I didn't know which one I would need for this big pot, but I'm going to try the big, gigantic spoon that I have to use for this size pot first. And I'm going to stir it all in. And as it cooks, it's going to reduce. Woo. So I'm going to continue to stir. I have hot water here. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. Put the top on and let it reduce. Okay, so I took the lid off and I found that I like this spoon, so I stirred a few times, but now I'm at the reduction level here. I don't know if you can really see it with all the steam, but you can see where it's starting to thicken right along here, and you can feel the little stickiness at the bottom, and a lot of the water is starting to reduce, so I'm just stirring. So maybe you can see how when I move the juices, you can see the bottom where you can find the stickiness. And now it's, let's move some of the steam off. You can see now where it's starting to brown. So they're starting to look like beef stew brown. So I'm going to continue to stir these, put the top back on. I may add a little bit more water to let it reduce again. And let me see. Got to get from the steam. Yeah, there we go. Hope you can get a good view of how it reduced very nicely. Oh, the smell is awesome, guys. Let me mix these up, and we're going to get them back up with water and reduce again. We're going to keep browning until they get to a dark savory color. Okay, so now I have the oxtails browned to where I want them to be. I'm trying to get an angle for these. And there is a lot of ooey goodness here at the bottom of the pot. That's all the good gravy thickener juice that I'm going to, that's going to be coated and surrounded these when they're nice and tender. So now we're going to add the other ingredients. So I'm going to take these veggies. I have green peppers, red, yellow, the onion, This is ginger. I sliced up entire whole ginger. Cloves of garlic. The garlic pieces fell in here, but the cloves of garlic and the carrots. I thought about not adding the carrots because I didn't want it to be stew, but I think I still want the carrots in it. So what I'm going to do is empty the entire thing of veggies. Everything is nice and clean. And then I'm going to add the water. And I'm going to put quite a bit amount because this is going to be the longest process, cooking process here. Okay. And I'm going to add some wine. So I'm going to add the dark colored wine. I'm only going to add a little less than a half a bottle. And I thought about adding brown sugar, but what I'm going to do is add ketchup. I'm putting ketchup in here, and that gives it a little bit of the tomato that I'm missing out of the stew. And ketchup has a little sweetness, but not too sweet. And I'm going to add some brown sugar. Just a tad bit, just to give it a depth of flavor. So I think that is it. So now I'm just going to give this a little stir, just so everything can cook up a little evenly. Oh, it smells so good. Let it come back up to a boil. And simmer, reduce down some more with all of the veggies, bringing out the flavor. So this is a slow cooking process. I probably have like maybe another hour, hour and a half left on these cooks. And then I will show you the finished product. Wish I could let you taste it and smell it. Okay, so I let these simmer for an hour, and these are the gravy is thickening, and they are so getting tender. And I apologize for my video steaming, but I wanted to give you an idea of how tender these are now. They're falling. You can just break the meat off of the bone now. Just like that. That's how tender these are. So these is about ready to pull off. So what I'm going to do is reduce them a little more. You can see where some of the onions and peppers had started disappearing into the gravy. And what I'm going to do is just put them on the stove uncovered for another half hour. And then I'm going to take them out and show you up close, out of the pot, oxtails. I'm bringing one more element to these oxtails. Turn the power off. The gravy is nice and thickened. Trying to give you a good angle. The gravy is now thick. It did it on its own. And this is what we were trying to achieve. a thick gravy that it reduced on its own without adding any thickener, flour. So it's just straight reduced juices of the flavor. So I'm gonna try this in hopes that it will turn out really good. But a lot of the Jamaican style oxtails includes the butter beans. So what I did was I opened some cans, rinsed them off, and I'm going to add some of these butter beans and turn them in. And I hope I don't ruin it because the flavor is very, very rich and intense now. I didn't add no salt yet. You can taste the salt from the all-purpose seasonings in the Lawry's. That was the only salting and whatever was in the jerk. But see, the butter beans are now included into, and I don't want to stir them to bust them or break them because I don't want mashed beans in the oxtails. Just enough to fold into the gravy so it can set inside the gravy. So when you serve these over rice, you will have your beans in with your oxtails. So I'm about to serve this, plate them up, package them for delivery, and let you see how I can present it. Okay, everyone, here I am. I have the final bowl of oxtails, nice and done. Look how rich, thick the gravy has become, tender. Everything is soft and succulent. I did add those butter beans, so you can scoop them if you want, and if you don't, you can bypass. But these nice and rich, the flavors are very, very prominent, and you don't need to add nothing. So I fixed me a little tasting plate with some rice, and I put the butter beans and gravy on the rice and have the oxtail of its own. And I'm gonna try to see if I can cut a piece. Try to cut a piece with one hand and can't use the knife. And I think I'm getting there to get my piece. How about if I do it like this? So good. So good. Yeah. Now, you see that I made these, and it took longer than this video, but I made it to the end, and I thank you for watching. This is Tina's Kitchen, and I took a little step into Jamaica. My little ladies there, and Jamaica was this weekend. Enjoy, and this is my first video. See you in the next one. Bye.